First of all, I'd like to just say that, I'm very proud of our team and where we're at right now. So, we're getting ready for a tough game tomorrow night against LSU, and we know it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough atmosphere, but we've played in tough atmospheres this year. So, it's a great challenge for us, but we're looking forward to the challenge, and there's no doubt in my mind we'll come out and play extremely hard.
Opening questions for the student athletes. We'll pass the mic around to you. Scott, if you want to start us on.
Scott Rabelais with The Advocate. For Crystal, this is a bit of a silly question, but Coach Caldwell said she was going to check out to see if you were related. She said she was ready to claim you since you played so well yesterday against Albany. Do you have any idea if you guys are related?
I don't think we're related, but I'll just go ahead and take that as a compliment.
Todd Murray, Dominion Post. Crystal, what does it say to you about an LSU team that can turn it over 23 times, yet still score 98 points and beat a good Georgia Tech team by 20?
Well, I think it's mostly because they get out in transition and they try to score early. If you give them a layup, they'll take it. But still, our defense, if we play the way we can, I think we can turn them over a lot.
Asia and Brooke, would you mind following up on just matching up against LSU? Can we start with you, Brooke?
I just agree with Crystal. I think, they get out in transition like us. And if we do a good job defensively, on their guards, they penetrate a lot. I think we'll have a pretty good shot. And we also have to, guard their bigs and,
Asia?
I think it's because they get on transition and they look to drive and get into the paint, so they take those chances of getting the turnover or trying to get the basket. So that's just something that we have to deal with, and we just have to defend dribble penetration.
Matt Boudreau with WC 33 for Asia. Just being a 2 seed and being rewarded, with a high seed like that and having to come down here and play on the road in a hostile environment, do you think about that and maybe how do you feel that could be different, I guess, in the future? Or do you like the challenge of coming here on the road? You can take that if you need it.
Let me have that.
I think it's great being a 2 seed, but it is difficult coming into someone else's arena and trying to score and get the win. But I think we've done that in the past, and we've proven that we can go into other people's gym and come out with the win.
Jeff with West Virginia Insider, Illustrated in the back.
Crystal, yesterday with, Bria gets 20 points, but she does it while missing 11 three-pointers. You guys kept on feeding the ball to her, though. How important is it that any of you, if things aren't going well, you continue to, sort of feed the players? I mean, obviously you have the depth that you could bring somebody else in, but with Bria specifically yesterday, what was the importance of making sure that you didn't give up on her despite those struggles that she had?
Well, because we've seen her make those shots all year long, so just because she wasn't making them yesterday doesn't mean that she can't. And we have that confidence in her just to know that you're a shooter, you miss a couple, you just continue to shoot. And we know that she's a great player, so continue to give her the ball and she'll make some. And
when we were talking to the LSU players, they said that, yes, you guys have depth, and we've talked about it all year, but they feel like they do too. If you could talk a little bit about how deep you feel this LSU team is and how well you match up because of that.
Well, I think they play well together, but so do we, and I don't want to try to get into too much of talking about that. I just want to get ready to play tomorrow.
Asia, going up against us, their center pretty good, still the same, around the same height. You are a little different than yesterday. What challenges is she going to bring in guarding her?
Well, I think she's a familiar body compared to the Big 12, so I don't think that's something new. Just still playing the same way I played all year, attacking, rebounding, and playing defense and helping the team out as much as possible. I don't think it'd be a big difference from what I've been playing against in the Big 12.
For ASAP, that last question was answered by Asia Bussey. Michael in the back.
Michael Cobble, WBRZ here in Baton Rouge. For the players,
LSU obviously didn't end their season, the regular season, the way they wanted to. They've had a couple of wins here, and they seem to maybe have found something, I guess. How dangerous is it to play a team that's just getting it together in the postseason?
Crystal, would you mind starting us off, and we'll go down the line?
Well, with them not ending the way that they wanted to, that lets you know that they're going to have a chip on their shoulder. It's tournament time. They're coming off a good win yesterday, and we're on their home floor, so they're going to come out hungry and ready to play. You can't really talk about what they didn't do at the end of the season because they're still a great team.
Yeah, I think they're going to come out really hungry. Like we've been saying, it's one and done, so they're going to give their all and play their best, and I don't expect them to do anything less than that.
I think they're going to come out hot from the jump. I think that they have a chip on their shoulder, like Crystal said, and I feel like they have nothing to lose, and playing on their home court will give them more confidence.
Go with Asia for this one. We've talked so much about potentially playing a team on their home court, and now it's here. How important is it that if they are coming out hot right from the opening tip-off, and the crowd is behind them and all that, that you weather that you're able to withstand any momentum that they do get early in the game and realize that there are 40 minutes to be played?
Yeah, we expect them to come out hot and try to get the crowd involved, but we just have to play our defense, the defense we've been playing all season long, and we expect it to be a roller coaster and play till the end, and I think it's going to be a full 40-minute game, and it's going to come down to the stretch.
More questions for the student athletes up front?
Scott Hotar with the Charleston Daily Mail. Asia, they've asked you about playing on LSU's home court. Even though you're the number 2 seed in this game, do you feel like you guys have kind of an underdog mindset going into this game?
Not really. But I do feel like we have a target on our back, and it's been like that all season long. Just we don't get the respect that we should get, and we just have to go out there and prove it every game. And I think this whole season we have had to prove people wrong and just show that we are a good team. We deserve to be a 2 seed, and I think that's what we continue to do even throughout this tournament.
Brooke, I assume y'all have had goals of getting to the first Sweet 16 in program history and getting to the Final Four. How do you set those things aside to play the one game? Not to let the emotions or thoughts of those goals get in the way of what you have to do to win a game, to beat a particular opponent?
I think the most important thing in tournament play is just take one game at a time and focus on the present and not the future, because you don't know exactly who you're going to play in the next round anyway. So I think just one game at a time and advancing to the next round is the most important thing.
Coach, this would be the first Sweet 16 under you, but the second for West Virginia, right? They had one at 92 or 3?
Yeah.
Crystal, you played these guys. They had a lot of the same players a year ago in that tournament in Miami. What are some of your recollections of that game?
Well, they took us off a lot of ball screens, and they dribble penetrated us a lot. So we're going to take that into consideration and go over scout and some of the things that they do and just try to play our defense and just sit down and try to stop their guards from getting too deep into the paint and setting up other people, because they do have some three-point shooters.
Anyone else for the student athletes?
Dave Hickman from the Charleston Gazette. Starting with Crystal, I think every team feels like they're dissed or underrated or whatever. But I've heard that a lot from you. You guys, at least in the last week since the brackets came out, and the people at ESPN seem to kind of dish you there. Can you give me some examples of what you mean when you say that people don't give you any kind of respect, and the things that have gone on this year that give you that idea?
Well, we've done so much this year. We are co-champs in the Big 12. We've only lost 4 games this year. We set so many records. We have a 30-win season, and we've just done so much, but I think a lot of people don't take that into consideration. Maybe it's because they think that you can't live off of that, but I think we've done so much, and people just don't really give us that credit. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter. We just have to come out and play basketball.
Just thinking back to the beginning of the season, we weren't even preseason ranked, and then to be in the top 5 at one point and just top 10 now, I think that shows you right there just how great our team is, and people didn't think we were that good from the beginning of the season, and maybe like the media coverage we get, or like how much we get talked about, I feel like we deserve a lot more as a team.
Last comment came by Asia Bussey. Brooke, would you like to expound?
I think in the beginning of the season our team was underrated, but I think we proved a lot of people wrong and proved ourselves right in the postseason and everything. But I think now we're considered unrespected, being a 2 seed and playing on the number 7 seed's home court and then the number 3 seed's home court. But I think that we do a good job of playing away better. So I think we'll have a good shot.
If there's nothing else for the student athletes, we'll release them and open up time for Mike Carey. Ladies, thanks for your time. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll let them get past the cameras. Questions for Coach? Michael Cobble in the back.
Coach, you're working your gun pretty hard during that sequence there. I guess they made some pretty valid points. Do you feel it's a legitimate argument?
We want to have a chip on our shoulder. I think we play better when we have a chip on our shoulder. So, I'm going to bring up everything to them because I want them to have a chip on their shoulder. I want to have a chip on my shoulder. I feel like I coach a little bit better, a little bit harder when I have a chip on my shoulder. So anything we can find, we're going to try to find it and use it.
Coach, we were just talking to Nikki Caldwell. She said that there's a difference between being hungry and being starving. And she feels like her team needs to be starving for this opportunity to go to the Sweet 16. You look at a team in your own group that has had so much success this year, but still clearly has something to strive for. Do you feel like they're at that point right now where they are starving for that next step, the next game to continue on in this tournament?
Well, I think so, because this group hasn't done that, has not went that far. So I guarantee you that they're hungry to move on. It's going to be a tough game. You go to the NCAA tournament, you're going to play tough games, and you're not going to play them at your home arena. So, if you want to move on to the next level, you have to play against good teams, and sometimes you have to play them on their home floor.
Coach, Drew Rubenstein, Dominion Post. Coach, you've talked a lot from the beginning of the season. Internally, you all knew what you had coming back and knew what this team was capable of. But I think one thing that we haven't discussed is you did have to bring in 2 new assistant coaches, and that dynamic of getting used to the way you want to scout. I know Coach Reeves had some familiarity, but knowing what you had personnel-wise, did that play a factor into the hiring, and then how did that kind of mesh over the course of the season for you all?
Well, I think the assistant coaches meshed in well. I've been in coaching for a lot of years. I'm not going to change my way. So, really, they got to adjust to me, and they've done a great job of that. Like you said, Coach Reeves was with me before, and I think all the coaches have adjusted well and doing a great job for us.
Coach, not being able to get to the Sweet 16 at this point, except for the one time in the early 90s. How much of that is a reflection of having to travel for the first and second round games, and why have you guys not had the opportunity to host some games?
Well, I think first of all, there's good teams in the NCAA, and if you looked at our seedings in the past, usually we were playing a number 1 seed or a number 2 seed, the second round, and it's been tough. Now, we don't get me wrong, we should have probably won a couple of those, and we didn't, and we have an opportunity here. My philosophy is if you can get to that point, eventually, hopefully, you win one. If you keep knocking on the door, hopefully it's going to open up for you a little bit. But, our teams have done a great job to get to this point, and we need to take the next step. I said that before the year started. We needed to take the next step in the NCAA tournament, and we have another opportunity. Now, hopefully, we can take advantage of that.
In the back, on the platform.
Players were asked about this, but Bria Holmes coming off yesterday, do you say anything to her? I mean, obviously you know what she's capable of, and how do you handle that going into tomorrow?
Shooters like Bria and Crystal and some of our shooters, I don't say a word. I mean, I heard Bria saying yesterday to a couple of the teammates, I'm not taking a 3 the next game. And I said, well, you will or you'll come out of the game. I'm more of that, if that's your shot, shoot it. If you miss it, you miss it. I don't get caught up in that stuff. Well, anything I'll do, because sometimes, shooters, when they're not hitting their shot, will get a little tight, and then, then the next shot's tougher. Sometimes I'll say, just kiddingly, it's okay. It's not against the rules to hit one once in a while. It's okay to hit one. But, I don't say a word to shooters. I really just let that go. If they're open, that's their shot. Now, if it's a bad shot, that's different. But if it's a good shot and that's a shot, that's their role in this basketball team, then shoot it. Because shooters are like anything else. You may miss 5 in a row, but you're liable to hit 5 in a row, too, the next 5. So, you just can't take that confidence away.
Coach, you've said a few times since the seeding came out and everything like that this team hasn't done too well in the NCAA tournament in the time that you've been here, and you continue to put that on yourself. You say that's my fault. Are there things philosophically or anything like that you've said, I have to approach the NCAA tournament a different way? Are there changes that you make when it comes tournament time now?
Not really. Not really. I don't think you can reinvent yourself tournament time. I mean, you are what you are. You played 20-some games, and you either won or lost those games in 20-some games. Now, you may make some adjustments, and you may play your starters a little bit longer. You may do certain things during the course of the game, but you're really not going to reinvent what you've done all year long. I just believe you go with what you've been successful with, and I try to stay. Even though it don't look like it on the sideline, I try to stay calm. I mean, I really try to stay calm, and I'm the type person. I'll go da 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 da, and then all of a sudden I'm calm. I'm over it, and then we can discuss what we really need to do. But I think the biggest thing is keeping your players focused, keeping them calm, and don't get excited. We already talked about this. It's going to be a 40-minute game, and we need to be in the game going into the last 4 minutes. And we've been very successful. We've been in the game going in the last 4 minutes because these players have done a great job of executing under 4 minutes. So that's where we want to be tomorrow night. Just be close, be right there, and have an opportunity to win the game in the last 4 minutes.
Coach, I asked the players about getting a hot LSU team. What did you see in that Georgia Tech game that maybe differed from their last 10 games of the regular season?
Well, I mean, they played with a lot of confidence. They were hitting their shots. When I looked at points in the paint, they scored a lot of points in the paint. But then when I watched the film, watched some film, a lot of it was, Georgia Tech was pressing. They were getting a lot of 2-on-1s, layups, that type of stuff. So, they're very talented. They have all the pieces. They have size. They have a 4 that can step out and hit the 3, but also go inside and post you at 6'5". They have shooters on the perimeter. They have people that can penetrate. So, they have everything to be very successful, and we understand that. But, our style is not Georgia Tech style. We're not going to stand out there and press and give you up layups all day. We're not going to do that. We're going to try to put a body on you, don't give you as many offensive rebounds and that type of stuff.
Scott.
Coach, what you remember that the second round matchup you had with LSU and Austin in 07, y'all had a big lead in that game, and then LSU hit a shot a long three-pointer, and they kind of stormed back.
What game was that?
In 07, played LSU and Austin in the second round.
Yeah. I remember the shot. I'll never forget that.
Count of Cheney, I think.
Yeah, the shot clock was running down, and they were out past the three-point line. And it was under 5, the shot clock, and instead of us closing up on the shooter because they couldn't put it on the floor, they had to throw it up. They hit that three. From that point on, they kind of took the lead and was able to beat us. Yeah, that was a good game. I also remember playing LSU last year. You all asked what stuck out in your mind. What stuck out in my mind, they shot 40-some foul shots last year in Miami. And I think they made 30-some, whatever. That's pretty much what stick, because they penetrated and we didn't do a good job, and we put them at the foul line a lot. So we can't do that tomorrow night. We got to contest, make them shoot over top, and then box out.
More questions for Coach Carey? Coach, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.